Hi guys, welcome to this video about a small comparison between crypto exchanges versus TREZOR or any kind of hardware wallets like Nano S or something like that. Why am I doing this? I have been using crypto exchanges for years, and I always had a little bit a bad feeling of being yeah somebody will steal my money or steal the money of the exchange, and then my money will also be gone or something like that. And I've been watching a lot of videos about cryptocurrency safety, and I think 99% of all the people recommend using Trezor, Nano S, and all these things. And so after a long time, I've decided to switch to Trezor and move all my funds or a lot of my funds to Trezor. Especially, I mean, I've been day trading for some time, like last year when it was still possible in the United States without having to pay tax for every trade. Now it's not possible anymore. I've switched to long-term hodling. Anyway, 2018 has been a bear market, so I think I will have to hold my assets for quite some time till we will see some green compared to the old all-time highs. But I'm still really confident, and so I want to keep them in a safe place. So just to be sure. So I'm having now my Trezor, and I started to move my assets to the Trezor, and I have found some difficulties. So I had the idea it's super easy. It's a hardware thing. You plug in and like plug and play. You just plug it in, give a password, and move all your funds like to the wallet provided. But I was a little bit wrong. Alone the setup of the whole thing was really cumbersome and not straightforward. I went to Trezor.io and download. It asked me to download something which I still don't know what I've downloaded. I don't see anything on my PC, but I had to download to use it. And then I connected it with this short cable which came with, and it worked, but it was so short. I mean, it was difficult to read, so I took a longer cable, and sometimes it brought up errors. And then the whole thing with the pin and everything, it was so difficult. And then I tried to send funds, and that failed too. And then I tried it in another way, and I found out that there were fake Trezors, and I had to find out first if I have a real Trezor or a fake Trezor, and so on, so on. And I figured out, at the end, I don't know if Trezor and Nano S are really the safer way to go. I mean, still today, I think most of the people recommend using hardware wallet, but I think it's worth to look at the not only the advantages what everybody says, but also the disadvantages and advantages of the exchanges versus Trezor. And this is where I'm putting the stress now of this video. So let's dig into that. Enough told at the beginning. So we have a few topics, and answer for Trezor and answer for exchange. Of course, it's my personal opinion. It's not professional financial advice. I'm not a pro. I'm not whatever. I'm not a bank. I can't really advise you what to do. It's just my personal experience. Maybe I'm wrong in with certain answers. If you have no other opinion, you're free to send me your comments down in the comment area. So we start first with the firmware which can be manipulated with the TREZOR. And yeah, with the exchange you don't have a firmware. There's no firmware which can be manipulated. When you go to any fake website, there's nothing like a fake firmware, nothing which can update my TREZOR, and so my funds can be lost. I mean, of course, there are other issues. There can be other issues with exchanges, but not a firmware which can be manipulated. Then also the hardware. I've already told you that there are fake TREZORs around these days. It looks like it's easy at the moment to distinguish which ones are the real ones and which ones are fake, but the fake ones will be better, you can be sure. Also the stickers and the hologram, they will do better, and at some point it will be almost impossible to find out if you have a real one or a fake one, and that's not good. So that's clearly the disadvantage at the TREZOR and the advantage at the exchange, because you don't need any hardware. Yeah, next thing, difficulty to log in and use. I mean, I've been in the software industry for about 25 years, programming, testing, everything, and still, I mean, I'm getting older, of course, but I still have found the way to log in and use is really cumbersome. It's not straightforward. It's I mean, if you do something so difficult, you would need like a software which guides you through the whole process, or better instructions or something like that. When you just buy it, click it in, go to the website, you can get lost a couple of times. You just click on wallet, and then it says nothing. You click again on wallet, and you have to do more stuff, and there's not a clear process. It's really difficult. With exchanges, usually you provide your email and password, and you have to verify your email. Then you make 2FA as additional safety, and that's it, more or less. The rest is intuitive. You will never need anything like instructions or something like that. You go there, and usually it's 90% or 95% of the exchanges. It's really easy to handle if you have at least some experience trading anything like stocks or something like that. So next thing is address compatibility. I don't know if this is really a disadvantage for TREZOR, but I've been trying to use it with Bitcoin Cash. Like short time before the fork happened in November, I tried to send funds from an exchange to Bitcoin to TREZOR, because I knew that they will support the fork, and at the exchange I was not sure, so I tried to send that, and I copied the wallet address, and I went to the exchange and pasted it into the recipient address, and it said, oh, we cannot use this address because it's a BECH32 address, please convert it or use this address. And I hesitated to use that, and so I missed the fork. Luckily, it seemed that my exchange still supported it, but I never had such issues. I've been transferring money between exchanges hundreds of times, and I've never had any issues, and it was only the first time when I was using TREZOR. Maybe it was just Bitcoin Cash something, but I don't know. Maybe really just by chance. I can't tell you if this will happen with more currencies, or if it's just a Bitcoin Cash thing. So, risk of password, PIN, or seed stolen. In my opinion, the risk of this being stolen is higher in a visit Trezor than with an exchange. At first thing you would think it's opposite, but I think the thing is you have to write it down on a paper. I mean, they recommend, and I agree, you need something which is not online probably, and you have to do it on put it on paper. But where to store it? But most of the people probably will make several copies, one in a bank safe deposit box, one in your own deposit box, one more in your document box, or yeah, wherever. And then the thing is, there is no recovery. If you lose your passwords, nobody will be able to help you to recover your funds. So you have to make so you really have to write it down, and you have to make copies, more than one copy, and that is prone to stealing. I mean, with an exchange, you can, even when you're using a weak password, which you can easily recall, if you're using 2FA, you have the additional safety which you need, so nobody can break into your account, and you usually don't write down these things. If you're using these kind of passwords for exchange or 2FA, usually you store them safely at some place, like usually online in an encrypted file or in Dashlane or something where it's really difficult to find these things. So usually you won't write these things down. Can be different or opposite way. It's just my thinking. Yeah, like this thing is about what I've been telling you before: retrieve lost password or 2FA. With Trezor, as far as I know, there's no way to retrieve any kind of lost keys, passwords, and those things. With exchanges, at least after doing the KYC, there's definitely a chance to get your funds back. It will take some time depending on exchange. I mean, Binance, Bittrex, and Hit BTC, and those things, they have, or at least they had, really bad support, and it can take even a couple of months. But let's say if you using one of the new exchanges, like the hot exchanges which a lot of people are using now, like Huobi, or especially Binance, they have really top-notch support, and I'm pretty sure, like with Binance, you will be able to access your funds again within 2 weeks or so, even if you have lost 2FA or even your password, and you can recover that through your email. Yeah, variety of coins and special stable coins. With Trezor, there's about, I don't know, 10 coins which you can use. If you go to Binance or other exchanges, there are hundreds of coins which you can use, and you can use even different exchanges. I've been using different exchanges also to mitigate the risk. So I don't have everything on one, or I didn't have everything on one exchange. I had it the whole my I mean, it's not so much, but the assets which I had distributed on about 10 exchanges, and that even gives me more opportunity to choose more coins, because all these 10 exchanges together, they cover almost all these 2000 available coins if I want to buy them. So it's much easier if you are on an exchange. Fiat gateway, there's no fiat gateway from Trezor, and also the two exchanges which are now supported within Trezor, I don't think that they have a fiat gateway. I'm pretty sure they don't have. So with exchanges, of course, I have two or three exchanges, or even more, which maintain a fiat gateway, which is really working. Exchange coins without moving them to an exchange or to another exchange. Now it's available on Trezor. It hasn't been available for many years. Now there are, as far as I know, two exchanges available, but these are not the big exchanges. If you wanna buy or sell a lot of these coins, it could be a very small market, and especially, I mean, when you buy it, you could end up with a much higher price, and if you want to sell, you could end up with a much lower value compared to the open market, like big exchanges like Binance or something like that. And of course, with the exchanges, it's no problem. I mean, you're already at the exchange. It's the exchange and the store in one place, like in a bank. Of course, they are not banks. I mean, exchanges are exchanges. There are a lot of exchanges around which you don't even know who's behind. There's exchanges. Recently I've been trading on Hotbit or something like that, and even after long time research, I haven't found out where they really are, who they are, where they are. And I've used a lot of these exchanges, like also Hit BTC. I think it's same thing. It's one of the biggest exchange, but nobody really knows who's behind that. But yeah, I wouldn't store there hundreds of thousands, of course, and maybe not for a long time. I mean, Hotbit, I've been just moving some funds there to do a trade and moved my funds back to my Ether wallet. So cost for to buy, you have to buy the Trezor with an exchange. It's free of cost. There's no safekeeping fee or something like that, or like with a bank, there's usually no minimum fees, no safekeeping fees, no nothing. It's just when you do trades, then they make money on the trades with an exchange. But apart from that, you can set up your account for free, so it can be huge difference. I mean, Trezor, it starts around $100. Now it's a little bit below, but with the Model T, it's even now it's $160 or something like that. Supporting forks, yeah. Trezor is supporting some forks, but since you don't have access to your private keys, you can't be sure that all the forks will be supported. They could say, no, we don't support this. Like, I don't know how it is now with the Bitcoin Cash fork. If they will just support the surviving or the better chain, I don't know, or if they will provide both of the funds, I don't know. But with the exchanges, same thing. So I mean, Binance and some other, like Huobi and the other exchanges, they have a good reputation of supporting forks, but not, of course, not every fork, and just from the big chains like Bitcoin Cash and so on. I mean, most of the forks anyway happen with these big chains. So token swap, that's a big thing for me. That's really a big deal, and a big like argument against Trezor, because it doesn't support token swaps. And exchanges, they usually support. I mean, not everyone, but if you go to a big one, like again and again, I'm using the name of the Binance. Binance has been for a long time one of the best exchanges, and I think it's still the best. I mean, it's the biggest exchange. It's one of the best exchanges, and they support most of the token swaps. I mean, especially when it comes to big chains like EOS. I think Trezor doesn't support EOS anyway, but if it's supported, I think no. I think there was something. Maybe there was even EOS. Yeah, the EOS when it was still an ERC20 token, it was on Trezor. So all the people had to move your funds either to a real EOS wallet and then do the token swap themselves and move the token, I mean not the tokens, the coins back to Trezor if it's supporting it now. So really difficult. If you had EOS on Binance, no problem at all. Uh, they just swapped it to their own chain, and you wouldn't even notice, except maybe 2 days no trading or something like that. That can be an advantage. So if you put everything on a Trezor, put it in a bank safe deposit box, and take it out after a couple of years, could be that you're out of luck, especially when were using ERC20 tokens and they switched to their own chain. I mean, they had their own mainnet launch. Yeah, like if they will recover even when you expose some of your keys with Trezor. If you expose any keys or your seeds or anything to somebody else and somebody else has access to your funds and can move them away, you're out of luck. They won't help you. With exchanges, there have been cases where they helped you recover funds, like with Binance. There was a case where I think API keys from a trading bot, were stolen, and they have been using to, yeah, they accessed Binance. Then the guys who stole the API key, they accessed. I mean, with the API keys, you cannot move. Usually, I mean, depending on the settings, you cannot move funds to another exchange or to another wallet, but you can do trades. And if you do silly trades, you can still like exchange the funds to somebody else because of silly trading. When you sell too low and buy too high and do this 10 or 100 times, so the funds will be exchanged. And that happened on Binance. And Binance halted these pairs and rolled back all the trades, and so refunded all the people. Even when it was not Binance's fault, it was the user's fault, but it happened with a lot of people, and so they were really generous. I mean, you have to be aware of Trezor. I don't know how much profit they make. Maybe a couple of 100,000 or maybe a couple of millions if they are successful. I mean, Binance, they make, I think in the meantime, they are making billions of profit per year. Maybe not in the second half of 2018 with this bear market, but as soon as it will go up. I think they had in the first quarter of 2018, they had more profit, net profit, than Deutsche Bank in Germany, and it's one of the biggest banks in Europe. Yeah, so that's the end. It took me 24 minutes. I'm sorry for that. It was a little bit long, but I really wanted to tell you as much as I know about these things. So these were, of course, again, mostly points which I found which are positive for exchanges and bad for Trezor, and you will find at least the same amount of topics which are in favor of Trezor and bad for exchanges. And we know there have been exchanges, there have been stolen funds on exchanges in individual accounts or more in the like the wallets of the exchange, and then the funds are gone anyway because you are having just a part of the funds of the exchange. But the winner is, no, I don't tell you. It's your own decision. But I just wanted to make sure that you know the truth. I mean, there was a total hype for TREZOR and NanoS and these things. And if you ask 1,000 people where to store the funds, 990 will tell you, yeah, it's a clear choice. It's TREZOR and NanoS. But I think it's not so clear. You really have to make your research and decide what you do. If you split your funds on 10 exchanges and use really reliable exchanges, big ones, and so I think the difference at the end is not really big compared to TREZOR, and yeah, the convenience is way higher. Of course, if somebody wants to hide funds with TREZOR, there is no KYC, at least till now. But if you're using any exchange, if you have to, at some point you will have to sell your funds, and then you have to go and exchange, and if the exchange asks for KYC, so you're out of luck anyway. But yeah, anyway, there are so many things to consider, and I just tell you or recommend doing your own research and make your own decision. Don't rely on any people on YouTube just saying use this or use that. You have to make your own decision, and then yeah, can be good decision or bad decision. I mean, I'm on exchanges in 1.5 years. I haven't had any bad experience, but it doesn't mean that it won't change tomorrow. Nobody knows. So I don't say whose winner is. I just wanted to inform you, and I hope I was able to help you a little bit with that. So if you have any questions or comments, just write to the comment section below, and I'm always happy to talk about these things. And if you like the video, give me a thumbs up, subscribe my channel. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.